What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Stack Deck podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about the state of play and the state of the game that just most recently came out. A lot of really big news in here, a lot of really exciting things to talk about on the kind of conceptual framework of the game, but also some really big news in regards to the competitive framework of the game. And I'm really excited to talk about all of it. But before we get started, again, I am Riley Knorr. I will be your host, and I have my co-hosts with me. So we'll do a quick round robin of introductions, and we'll hop right into it.
Yeah, so Hydra here as always, ready to get started and hype for the new changes. So
Yep, Stardust here. We're gonna go to the regionals, so we're getting ready for that.
Well, they're not just called that anymore. And that's something that we'll talk about. Very, very important point.
Anti-droll. We actually didn't mess this up for once.
Yeah. What do they say? Like 10 times the charm? I forget exactly what episode it is. All right, so big news was finally the time for the state of the play, or state of the game and state of play. But for the state of the game, there were quite a few announcements. They kind of have it's like an interview format. We'll link it below if you guys are interested in reading it, and you absolutely should. But there were a couple main talking points that I selected from it that we're going to discuss. So I think the most interesting thing about this was they talked, actually there was a bunch of interesting things, but one of the things that I want to bring up is we finally got information about new formats or support for old or different formats. So I don't know how many of our viewers have played 2v2 before, but Stardust and I have played 2v2. It is a miserable experience.
It is miserable.
It was a terrible experience.
Oh
Hated
my
it.
goodness.
And interestingly enough, we did see that they did bans for 2v2.
Yeah.
So as far as like the Master Yi Yasuo combination that has been adjusted. But one of the most interesting things that came up in the state of play announcement was that 2v2 is finally getting real support. So there's three things here. 2v2 is finally getting real support. Another thing is Legacy, which is the sixth set they have said is going to be designed for draft. And then the final interesting thing that they mentioned was the non-rotating format is going to launch in 2028. So that's super interesting. We have not yet had any rotations. And always thought, is there going to be an eternal format? When are we going to see an eternal format? And apparently about 2-ish years of cards is the amount of time that they are hoping to see in a non-rotating format. So we'll start at 2v2. Do you guys think that, and Stardust, I'll start with you because I know that you have some of the 2v2 experience with me. Do you think that when they say they're going to support 2v2, is this them throwing 2v2 a bone, or do you think that they're like legitimately trying to introduce this as like a legitimate method of play? Like, do you ever think we're going to see like a 2v2 regional or something like that?
That's a great question. I think that they always wanted. At first, I think they're gonna try, right? As like Riot, they were super innovative, and like when the game released, they always talked about like, oh, this is a very like like a multiplayer game kind of thing, and it's almost like a tabletop like that's why they made proving grounds and that sort of stuff. Like
they stated they want it to be the most introducible card game that exists.
So yeah, so I mean, they're definitely gonna try that. They want to be like no one else. They want to make 2v2s work, and like the fact that you get the most ticket. Like for example, a typical farming technique at regionals is to go 2v2s, right? And that yields like the most ticket per per team kind of thing. And I think that they really were trying to push it, and I think trying to push it more. And like knowing what 2v2 actually feels like, it felt really rough, right? Because it's always like, oh, you're looking at your opponent, your hand, your
none of the
teammate's hand,
judges
you're
knew the
looking at your
rules
hand,
either.
and you guys are like,
None of the
doing
players
a
knew the
lot of
rules either.
coordination and that sort of stuff. It can be fun, but I think that it definitely needs to have more autonomy. Everyone's a little more separate, a little more you know, yes, you're with your buddy, but like it has to kind of have like an instinct, like kind of like sports where you're like you're not like, hey Messi, I'm gonna pass you the ball. It's like you've scrimmed enough where you're like, I'm gonna do it, and he knows I'm gonna do it. It's kind of like I think it's gonna be more fun like that rather than like I don't know. That's my 2 cents though.
Hey, Drizidril, have you guys played the 2v2 format at all?
No.
we have not. No.
You're not really missing
Well,
anything.
yeah,
to
you're
be
not.
honest.
Was there even?
I think
Oh, was there a rule book at all for the
No.
2v2 format at all? When it started?
Oh, don't get me started.
there are rules,
Okay.
but and I kind of alluded to it earlier, like in the time between us starting 2v2 pods to the like last round that we played, all of the rules changed. Like people couldn't even
Like,
agree on the
really,
starting
none of the
order.
judges knew.
Like none of
Yeah.
the judges knew any
Yeah.
of the rules.
Yeah.
And it was honestly like embarrassing. And like it's just funny because the things that you can do in 2v2 that are part of the rules feel like cheating. So like
Yeah.
it was like Stardust mentioned, apparently you can play spells on your
Yeah.
teammate's turn,
Yeah.
which is not intuitive.
Yeah.
Like not
Like,
action
at all.
spells, just normal speed, like no
just
action.
spell.
Oh,
You can
right.
call the weak.
Yeah.
You can call the weak on your teammate's turn, which
Yeah.
just feels weird. So I hope that they tighten that up like pretty significantly. But like I think like my additional overarching question is if you look at a game like Magic, right? Like social formats like Commander, it's a 4-person free for all and there's a lot of problems that come with that, but like as far as I'm aware there's not a trading card game that has like a premier 2v2 format. It's either 1v1 or 4-person free for all. And so like I don't know, I just obviously the more ways to play there are the better. But I'm curious as to, do you guys think that they're going to be trying to make this like a legitimate thing, or are they just trying to make it not as bad as it currently is? Because it's pretty bad, right? It's just bad. Like I will straight up say it's bad.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to me, I see it as one of those like Riot typical experiments, kind of like we saw with like the single player games that they were doing a while
Twisted
back.
Tree Line,
Yeah.
Shurima Shuffle, and all the extra
So,
stuff that they
yeah.
launched on League.
Yeah. So it's like I see it kind of one of those things where kind of the same thing like TFT started, and they probably didn't think it's
Yeah.
gonna take off on their own. And if there's enough support, I feel like they will start like printing out more like 2v2 related cards and probably have like separate rules and do a lot of extra things. But it's just really dependent on the player base. But I don't know. Like as of right now, like people play it to, like as Starter said, to farm tickets. No other reason to play it. I don't think I've seen anyone play it for fun. But I hope that changes. That's something that whenever also TFT when they did the double up, I really wanted that to take off. Because it's super fun playing with someone and sending
It
items
is.
or
That
units.
I've heard great
So-
things about Double
yeah,
Up.
and it's super fun when you play with someone. So I hope that they do stick around and make more progress when it comes to it. Because there's a lot of financial decisions they have to make, but I think there's enough money to like put on the 2v2 side instead of the 1v1 as well. So hopefully they will. That's what I want.
What do you think, Zedril?
No, I think it makes sense that it will become more popular. Pretty much it. I mean, that's. I think it's. I think again. I think I keep repeating this line over and over every single time we have a podcast. But ultimately, Riot had no idea how successful this game would be. So now they are deciding, oh, we should put more resources in a game that's very successful. So that's kind of the vibes I constantly get from Riot.
Yeah, I think the first thing that they said was what's different, and they were like, well, we had to hire like a crap load more people.
Yeah.
Like that was like the first thing that he said. He was like, we had to hire so many more people, and I think that kind of echoes your point.
Hey, but that's a good
I
thing,
think
right? It means
no,
the
it
game-
is a good thing. It is a good thing. I think what's also kind of interesting is like when Origins came out, like Stardust, didn't you play in like a 2v2 like win a box tournament? Like wasn't that
Yeah,
like a
we
thing?
did.
Because
We did.
it's a filter. It's a filter. But I haven't seen a single 2v2 event since you mentioned that you did that months ago.
Yeah, I think it was actually for like the New Year's. It was like a New Year's like get together with the store, and the store was like, let's do something fun, let's do something crazy, and they had a 2v2. It was indeed crazy. It was kind of fun, but yeah, I don't know. I think it could be more fun. I think there needs to be some changes.
Well, I think ultimately, like within the state of the game, they have definitely said that they're at least trying. And again, set six, I have been the biggest hater in the world in regards to pre-rifts, and I hate pre-rifts, and I hate sealed in Riftbound so
I
much.
actually
Like
love
it
it.
is it is
So
it is
much
the
fun.
worst thing that I've ever played in my entire life. But again, they said that set six is going to be focused on drafting. So I don't know if that means we're going to see some fundamental changes. But at the very least, I do like that we are seeing them try these
Yeah,
things. So
yeah,
I
different
agree
branches. Yeah,
overall. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree overall.
yeah.
I agree overall. Um,
Well, I will say, I know you said you're kind of skeptical about some of the changes, but I think ultimately this is actually going to become a lot more popular than even the main game. I don't see this not being popular eventually, just with a
Commander,
matter of
right?
time. Yeah, yeah, just things like that. But I
The
But
casual
also,
format.
yeah,
but
yeah,
there's
what's up?
well, I think I think similarly to the actual main game League of Legends, where they're like the side games can be fun, but it can't overtake the main game because then overall it'll like kind of be bad for the game. Like at one point they were like, oh, ARAM, and then they're like, well, ARAM Mayhem can't be like forever, and then they made it forever. I think there is some logic behind it. I think that the core game has to stay though. If it becomes a commander game, then that's like a sign that the game's going downhill.
Well, no, well, I mean, Riot wants to make money, and the more people play it, the
Yeah, I
better.
was gonna say
I
it
think
all has
most
to do with
people,
money.
yeah, but most people at the end of the day are not that competitive. I mean, that's just like, look, man, it takes a lot of like focus and time. I mean, it's also like interest or actually want to do all this, uh, and it's very rare for people to actually want to invest in any resources.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
aka
I
time
mean,
and resources doing it. Yeah.
I definitely think we're the exception as far as competition goes. And I will say, like, again, like stores that will only get 8 people for a skirmish will regularly have sold out 24-person Nexus nights, right? Like, that is something that I see with my eyes, like,
Hmm.
every month, right? So, like, I definitely think a lot of people are very casual about this game. Maybe not, the people who are going to listen to a podcast about Riftbound, right? But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
I
mean,
think
yeah,
that
you're filtering.
I think that a lot of people are casual and like, I mean, how many people, Kevin, did we see? It was like couples playing 2v2,
Yeah.
right? Hey, this is how I'm getting my partner into the game, and so if it's not the worst experience in the world, like that's only a good thing. The
Yeah.
the only thing about that I will say is, and you do see this because Magic is going to be my comparison probably forever. Um, 1v1 is almost always the best way to learn a game, but it feels confrontational because it's you versus another person, right? Like in a 1v1 format, you only have to worry about yourself and your opponent. So really you only have to learn about like the rules in one other situation being your opponent's turn. And like famously, teaching people how to play Magic through Commander is terrible because there's so many other people and it's really hard to like learn that fundamentally. So I'm curious as to like what like angle they're going to take with this and if they're going to trim the rules, change the rules, update the rules or whatever. But like ultimately the more people there are in a game, the harder it is to learn even if you do have the support. So I wonder how they're going to try to like smooth that over. Cuz again, teaching people to play through Commander is tough
I mean,
sometimes.
I'll say the 2v2 format. I mean, they need to have a complete different format or a different scoring mechanism. The way they do it now, it seems like unworkable. That weird to say. I just don't think it's very efficient.
I'll agree with that conceptually. I think that right now, free for all and the 2v2 formats feel a little stapled on. And potentially with this update, they're going to make it like its own thing. And I think that kind of echoes what you're seeing, Zedril, and I completely agree. Now, the other format thing, which is interesting, is the eternal format where all cards are legal. Rotation is no longer a thing that's going on. I would need to double check the dates, but it sounds like it might be launching kind of with the first time that they're rotating cards from Origins. And so they might announce it before we see that first rotation. Do you guys think that these like eternal formats will, or this eternal format will be like Wild West as far as like no bans? Or do you think it'll just be eternal insofar as you can use all the cards? Because I think that ultimately being able to access all the cards does inherently make it like a stronger format. So do you think it's going to be like the Wild West, or do you think it's still going to be like scrutinized and banned? What do you think, Hydra?
I hope it's Wild West. I don't see any point in like letting in banning cards in that game mode. I guess because I don't remember, but I know those Magic banned them. I know they have like a whole what you
So
can play
Magic
in it.
has standard, modern, legacy,
Yeah,
and
Legacy.
vintage, and yeah, legacy. Well, vintage has the least bans. Vintage
Okay, so
only
they still
really
have
has like
bans.
restrictions.
I mean, I think
Um,
the way they're gonna print in the future should solve some of the problems that we had with the first cards. If it doesn't, then I think it'd still be more fun to watch. So I think if you're playing, those type of games where you can use cards from, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, the people will have, or the watchers, who they support the game will have more fun watching just every single card getting played. Obviously, if it's something that just completely breaks the game and there's no point around it, then you do have to ban it at that point. But I think as of now, I don't think there's anything or there shouldn't be anything that crazy where you just outright have to ban it from every single game mode that people might want to play. So I hope it's Wild West. I guess I hope it's that way. I think it'll be more fun.
what do you think, Zedril?
No,
Oh, Stardust, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
no. I was just gonna say like, I think because more cards are gonna be released, some combos are gonna be too broken, and if it actually takes off,
Yeah.
like the Wild West, like if it actually takes off, they have to ban it, or else like it's just everyone's gonna be playing the same deck, because one deck's just gonna be too good. So yeah, they will ban it. They
It'll
will
be
ban
proving
something.
ground E forever. I'm telling you. What do you think, Zedril?
What do I think? I think it's fine. It doesn't matter. I think like all forms of games, you'll have different formats that are popular with other people, and I think that will make it okay. I'm not that worried about. I guess I'm just not that worried about like I don't know. There's always going to be broken combos, but that seems like a more casual. But I don't know. Depending at the end of the day, this is like I will say this. This also like not how do you say what's the terminology? It's kind of like the market. We let the market decide what's popular or not, right? And at the end of the day, if the market decides like the people enjoy this modern, is it modern? I think it's modern, the equivalent of it, right? Where you can play almost every single
Well,
card.
there's a couple equivalents, and that's going to kind of be my follow-up question. Like,
Sure.
because I think you're making an interesting point that I want to address. If we look at Magic, right, something that's really interesting that Magic does is their Pro Tour, which is their, you know, not technically the highest level of competition because you have worlds, but
Yeah.
they're like regional qualifier or continentals, whatever. Sometimes, or they'll do different formats. So you'll have a standard Pro Tour, you'll have a modern Pro Tour, right? You'll have like a limited Pro Tour. Do you think in the future we see an instance where there's like an eternal regional qualifier, or is it always just going to be standard?
I think I think with time, yeah. I think if they're interested in making it more competitive, I think you have to kind of nudge the audience into the correct decision. The masses do not
Okay.
know what to do, so we must alter the decision. Kind of the attitude I have about it. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, I do think the changes are fine. I actually doesn't bother me. I think Riot does care about trying to make this game a little bit more innovative. Maybe that's the best way to frame it, and like have different ideas. So I will always be supportive of them trying to push the envelope, even if the audience isn't ready for it. If that makes sense.
What is that Ord quote? If you asked the people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses, something
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes, 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 yes. Unironically, that. So like,
I mean, I think it would be really interesting, right? Like, I think that to your point, anytime, I think that like Commander's like an anomaly, but like if at any point you want to engender some form of adoption, like you have to have incentives. And
yeah,
like an eternal showdown series, right? Like could be really cool, depending on how they do like the prizing and stuff. I don't know if you could do like a regional because I don't know, maybe it depends because I think that worlds always has to be standard, but maybe getting there can be like a little bit different.
yeah.
Um, the next big thing that they talked about was formatting, and we'll put it up on the screen, but there's like a mock-up of a proposed format that has an arrow, and I want to know what you guys think of this. Starting with you, Stardust, at the highest level of kind of competition that we have within the crew. What do you think about these? I personally dislike them.
Just like the can you repeat that?
So if you look in the general channel, you'll see an example of the arrows, which is the formatting.
Like the Premiere player play and local and stuff.
It is below that. You have to scroll down.
Oh, the arrows. Okay. So that actually I'm a big fan of that. So clarity a
Okay.
lot of times like wordiness is not like is not good. And I've like just not only in card games but in like the professional world and the world outside of cards. Like a lot of times less is more, right? Like a lot of times you don't to describe the same thing, you can just use like a really clever, pictogram or whatever, right?
Picture
And
books. We're all going back
Yeah,
to
I like
picture books.
that.
No
I
more
like that.
chapter
and
books. Just
yes,
picture books.
and and pictures are more universal than languages. So sometimes like the interpretation is like very direct when it comes to arrows and stuff like that. I really like it. Like that's something that I incorporated, like in my own life that is good, and I like it. I think it yeah, and it also like a lot of times some people will like maybe play a card in a different language for the advantage of like language barrier.
Yeah.
Sometimes yeah, and then you'll have like something
Simplified
that
Chinese.
yeah, well, it doesn't work. It's like I read it. I'm just like, oh, that's in
Ni
Chinese.
hao,
All right, let me do
bewitching
that.
spirit.
Like, oh yeah, okay, that's all right. Next, but yeah, no. So I think it's good. I think it's healthy. I think it gets things more direct, and it kind of breaks down some of the language barriers. So I like it.
Well, the arrow wouldn't do anything for language barriers, right? Like, I don't know. Throwback to the guy that I played at Atlanta who tried to tell me that his Chinese Purple Annie came in ready. Like, no, 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 no. We're pulling up a translation on that one. I just look,
Based.
I'm all for clarity, right? Like, if something makes things more clear, I am all for clarity. Riftbound is the only game out of every trading card game that I have played where this has been a problem, and their solution is something that no other trading card game does. Not
Yeah,
to say that like we should be like, oh, nobody else does that, therefore it's a bad idea. But like, I don't understand why they've had to like go to this arrow system when again, every other game that I've ever played has never had the problems that Riftbound has had. So like, I don't know. What do you think, Zedril? Like, is this like, are they just dumbing it down like 100%, or is this like maybe a formatting that other card games should adopt?
I think we have enough incidents of wording issues that I don't care. I think it's a good thing that
Or
they're
is it just Riot needs to do this because Riot clearly cannot like
be consistent
get
enough
the
with the
wording
rules.
right?
Yeah, yeah, probably that's probably more accurate answer. I think it. Oh wait. I mean, to be fair, I think I'm. No. I think. I think at this point, it's obvious that Riot has a just has real. Again, they didn't put the resources.
Oh,
Couldn't commit to
this
that, and they
dude,
couldn't
this
clarify
guy.
things very efficiently. Dude, it's true. Look. I mean, this. I mean, for me, this is not a bad sign. I mean, they're doing all the correct decisions. I mean, I can't get angry at them for any of this. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they seem to be actually caring about what's going on, and I mean, I appreciate that that simple act of them like caring
100%.
enough to change the rules and doing all this type of stuff, I think is very. I mean, it shows a lot of positive changes. So
A- And they're very active on like
yeah,
Twitter, responding to
Yeah.
people, and like I'm a fan of just how responsive they're being, and like I recognize that like this is clearly an issue, and I'm happy that they're resolving it. I'm just shocked that this is the direction that they're taking because from like a technical standpoint, isn't this going to be a problem with some other languages? Because obviously I'm monolingual, but aren't there like differences in like sentence structure and
Yeah.
like Spanish and stuff that might make this unintuitive in another language? I don't read Mandarin, so I can't necessarily comment on simplified Chinese, but like
Hmm.
is that a thing, or am I just off base because I'm a
No,
monolingual
100%.
scrub?
Sentence
Yeah.
structures are different across languages. Yeah.
yeah, but I
That's
mean,
true.
but I think that Riot is probably more uniquely good at this because they have multiple servers, different cards, different abilities, different sentences that are like three. One ability has three different sentences in the actual Riot game, and I think they probably have good localization. That's one problem that like I think Riot's actually uniquely talented on multiplayer style. They're a global company, ironically, and
Yeah.
especially with a simplified Chinese, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
obviously
and there's multiple
exactly.
Yeah.
I would have just loved to have seen an example, and this is something that kills me sometimes. I would love to have seen an example where it mattered. I don't think anybody's ever messed up Kinko Monk ever, right? But like an example that's been coming up is Mel's signature spell, right? You don't have to pay the power on cast. It resolves, and then you can choose to pay the power, right? It's also similar to Misfortunes or Monkey Zedril that you're familiar with.
Get excited.
So yeah, get excited. So like, I wish that they used a different example because I don't think anybody's ever messed up Kinko Monk. I could be wrong there, but I think that you always, like, for an example, you always need to take the most egregious case to shed like the most light on the situation. And then I don't know, within the rest of the state of the play, I think every state of play there's going to be some vague reference to the digital client. I hope they don't do one. I will come out. I will just say that I hope that they don't do a digital client, and I know that that's probably just because I live by card shops, but I just prefer playing in person, and I'm just so sensitive to anything that would affect that personally. But until they announce that, I don't know. They're just gonna allude to it in every, I don't know, state of the game because everybody's always going to be asking for it. And then there was some topic on exclusivity as far as cards go, which I think is good insofar as you will be able to get every card from a pack, which is good, as we learned from Proving Grounds, because that was a huge problem with Proving Grounds. And also, if you look at some of the other games, like the most famous example in Magic is Nexus of Fate as a box topper, was really difficult to get, and you only got it if you bought a box. So you needed to run 4 in the best deck, and it was like an $100 card because you had to buy a box to get it. So I'm glad that they're not doing that like exclusivity anymore. And then serialized cards, and this is something I actually did want you guys' opinion on. Serialized cards, insofar as in like Magic, you see a serialized card where it's 1 out of 100, right? And they have no plans on doing that. Obviously, they're doing it for T1, but that's special. But they have no plans on doing that. What do you guys think about that? Because that just seems like a way to make so much easy money. Like if you're selling stuff, just put a serialized. People are gonna rip packs till their fingers bleed. But does Riot need to do that? I don't know. I personally am curious because I don't love signature as like the highest rarity. I think it's kind of lame, personally. And serialized is what the industry has right now as like the rarest card. Do you think that they're going to stick with this, or do you think that they're just happy with the current rarity setup that they have because maybe it hasn't been fully explored? What do you think, Hydra?
I think they're happy with it. I don't see why they would change it. I would probably say like if they were to change it, I think they would introduce that somewhere like after Worlds or during Worlds or something like that. I think that would be like a good period to introduce it. Whether they do it or not, I honestly like I already opened enough packs anyways, so I already given my money. But I don't really mind, and like it's one of those things where it doesn't really attract me anyways. Like half the
I
time I'm
agree.
searching for
I agree.
cards that I need, not for cards that I like want that I look cool or want like that way. And even then, like if I really wanted like a really cool legend, which I assume they would probably do, I would prefer to get the best of or the like price wall metal instead. I don't know. I think that it's one of those things where I think if they want to introduce other rares and like some other like double ultimate card, whatever, I think the people that are going to spend the money have the money to spend it and just let them be. I don't know. Doesn't really bother me when it comes to it. I don't think it's like exploiting the system they got. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
What do you think, Zijo?
Oh, my turn. Yeah, I'll send up here. Yeah, I'm glad. Doesn't really the language stuff doesn't matter, but I'm just happy they fixed the legend thing. Honestly, for all this rarity stuff, and the boxes and how epics were just legends and they were completely worthless. Funny enough, in Origin you never saw legends, but now you see legends every other freaking pack, and it's like every pack has one legend. I want to kill myself when I see one. There's so many epics that are actually useful, and you don't get them because I have a million medals for some godforsaken reason. So that aspect of it. I mean, the chase card stuff, I think it's fine. It's whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the whale determine how much those cards matter. Like there could be infinite supply, but if if they don't like Kaisa, even though I don't think she's actually that relevant in the meta as much as she used to be from Origins.
I mean, she's S tier, but whatever.
No, okay. Well, I'm talking about the actual unit, like the unit. I'm saying the.
Oh,
epic,
okay.
I think it's a legendary, right? And I think there's one in the market, but she's still worth $60. And she's not really played in most decks anymore. At least the cards that do play her are not as relevant as possible, but still almost worth the $8
Draven's
card.
S tier, so
It might be, but what's going to be the share of the meta?
Yeah. No.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be like 15-20% max. So maybe Rek'Sai. Does Rek'Sai even play? She does not play. I know they don't play.
I don't think so.
No.
Too expensive.
No, I don't know. Yeah, so like the market, it's just gonna be random people, not random scalpers maybe, or maybe just
or whales, bro.
Or whales.
Yeah.
Like what's his name? The Korean
LS.
There we go. LS, my favorite.
What do you think, Stardust?
In terms of serialized cards, I think so. It's all there since the dawn of like card games. Every card game has been trying to like make something that is like cool and makes people want to buy stuff. And then we've evolved to the point where we're like, okay, we're doing signature cards, right? But a lot of the times the signature isn't like it doesn't really enhance like the card itself. I on the other hand think that serialized cards are like I really like them. I think it's cool because it's like the population and then which one you have, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And I think the way it evolves is pretty cool, but I think that Riot already has made probably like the biggest, boldest, coolest move, which is like metal cards, right? Like before that, there wasn't metal cards, and now they did such a good job, right? And I think like yes, serialized cards are really cool, in my opinion. Like that's something like I'm a numbers guy. I like numbers. And yeah, like
that's my quant.
that's
my quant.
I listen. I love numbers, right? I'm
that's
like
my quant.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So like I love numbers, but the thing is, they already have something better. They have a metal card, an eternal card.
This is for packs. This is something that would be in a pack.
And I'm saying is that like I'm just trying to give the point of view where it's like, okay, like we can do or don't have serialized. I would prefer serialized, but they have already innovated to the point where it's like they already passed the point of serialized cards. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Like yes, it would be cool, but they already have like the next best thing. Like, why would we like they can? It's kind of like having like stereos in your like like instead of CD players now you have stereos, right? Like, yeah, like instead of
I don't
having like
understand that right. I mean, yeah.
the
Okay.
it's like you can also have a DVD or a CD player in your car, but you already have the better thing. You know what I mean? So like you can
Sure.
do, you can
Okay.
don't. You
Sure.
can do or you can don't.
The
Like
water.
Okay.
The water.
It's
Yes.
water, right? I think
It's the
ultimately,
water.
I would rather have serialized cards than signature cards. Personally, I
I
don't know if
agree.
that's
I like
I
cereal
don't know if
better
that's
than
an anti-artist stance because that kind of makes me
Kind
feel
of
bad
is,
to
I
say,
guess.
but like
'Cause then-
I would rather have serialized cards over signature cards. But
Yeah.
all right, we got to move on because the
Okay.
the biggest thing that I want to talk about is not the state of the game, but the state of play. And this was the kind of the big thing that I was most interested in. So there's some pretty large changes coming to this, and we have another graphic. So it's broken up into Premier Play and Local Play, and I have um, highlighted everything with green, which means it's new. The World Championship isn't technically new, but it's new to us. They had only kind of vaguely talked about it before. We have renamed, and then we have old, right? So we can kind of ignore old. We don't got to talk about that. But we're gonna start with renamed before we get into the super duper juicy stuff, which is new because I have a lot of thoughts on this. So the biggest things with the renamed is regionals or regional qualifiers are now regionals and regionals are now continentals. So you
Okay.
used to play in a regional qualifier to get to a regional. Well, now
Yeah.
those regional qualifiers are just called regionals. And honestly, I'm so okay with
That makes
this
sense.
because
Yes.
I kind of felt like they were already
Yes.
regionals to begin with.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it was really confusing.
Yes.
And so continentals are the things that you qualify to by getting top 64. Now, I think that this is objectively a good change, and there's nothing new per se, except when it comes to the continentals, because this was insane. This was insane. And I'm reading this directly from the article. And for those who don't qualify for the main event, or sorry, that's the wrong thing. Continentals are 3 days events with day one being open entry as a qualifier for those who haven't already qualified. That is insane to me. And
Oh my
it's
God.
insane for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
That means if you don't make top 64, you still have a chance to qualify. But what I'm really curious about is how big are these events going to be, right? Because if you're top 64 from each event, I don't know how many RQs that we've had, right? But like a lot of those people are repeats, maybe not like a high majority, but a decent amount of those people are
Like
repeats.
15-20% maybe.
Yeah, right. So like when we look at a continental, how big is the continental? Because if you thought buying a ticket to a regional was bad now, oh my God, getting a continental ticket is going to be the most insane experience,
Yeah.
especially with the new
That's a good
best
point.
of prizing at these continentals, where if you get a best of in day two, or if you make it to day two, your best of is now a metal foil over number.
Yeah.
Like,
It's $1 bajillion.
how are like,
Well,
how are you like, how many
let me-
tickets are going to be available?
I'm gonna say my piece because I'll have that a little bit sooner. Fundamentally, the core problem this like Riot has, they need more slots. Every event
Yes.
needs like 4,000 people, 5,000 people. They will
Yes.
fill up. They're way too conservative in how explosive this game blew up. And this is like the issues were like with gathering tickets or regionals. They're making so many events. I think they're slowly ramping up, which is the positive aspect of this, because every single time they've added more people, but they need if they want to have more slots, more people, they need to tighten the rules. You can only have overtime for 15 minutes. If you have overtime for a certain amount of time, you lose. That is the
Oh
core.
my
That is
God,
the
yeah.
fundamental problem. Like why they're very hesitant to add more slots is because it takes such a long time. How long is the venue going to be? Let's say they have 4,000 people. The venue's going to be open for what? From 9
Start
to
an
like
hour
2
earlier.
a.m. No, it has to be much. No, it has to be in the morning. 13
I
rounds.
said an hour. An hour.
No,
earlier.
13
hours.
rounds.
And he start at 6 a.m.
Oh, okay.
on the
Well, at
dot.
least.
Holy
right?
6
Dude,
Maybe
a.m.
not 6 a.m.
If
Maybe not
they
6
have
a.m.
4,000 people, if they have 4,000, 5,000 people, dude, this is becoming like, dude, there's so much potential in Riftbound. and Riot has the capital to do it. Why not push it? Like, their tickets are being sold in 2 minutes. Okay, people
Less
are
than
putting
that.
exactly. I don't know. That's my whole. That's
No,
my
that's a great point. No, they
yeah.
do need to fix something, but
So
I
I
think
completely agree. And
I need
like
to head out. I need to head out.
I've had go all right. Unfortunately, Zedro had to leave us, but he did get a last word in. But I am just like from open day one being open entry as a qualifier. Does that mean I can just show up?
you probably need tickets.
You gotta get tickets, yeah.
Maybe, right? But like my point is, if you thought that buying a regional ticket was bad, the opportunities that come from topping a continental, everything pales in
No
comparison.
question.
And so, if it's open entry, I'm going to all three.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
When
I'm going
does
to all
this
three.
start?
Why not? Why
When
not?
does it start?
Starts next year.
Um,
Oh,
no,
so
no, no,
okay,
no.
so
These
this
are
is
these
not-
are continentals. These are continentals. The first one's going to be in like November, I believe.
oh, so like the very first regionals is going to be a continental which anyone can join.
Again, I didn't say anybody could join. I'm saying it says open to
Yeah.
qualify.
Open
So-
means anyone. Okay, so anyone
Well,
can join.
we don't know that, right? Again, this is Riot we're talking about. They're not really good with their words, right? There's no arrow, so I don't know exactly what that
Okay,
means,
okay.
right?
Is there a Chinese
like-
translation?
My point is that I have so many questions about that because, again, the idea that you can get entry to a continental or something and not having qualified for a regional, like, I mean, if it's open, it would be a mistake because then 10,000 people are going to show up, right? But if it's not open, because they're going to like just qualify for day 2. So it would be like it would only happen within one day. And
Yeah.
we've already seen 8 rounds in a day is a nightmare,
A whole
right?
day?
Yeah.
So I have so many questions on the logistics of this, but like and also I don't know, the idea that you can qualify without having top 64 is crazy to me. So I'm very curious as to how this is going to how this is going to go because I'm just the idea of there being open entry as a qualifier, I will go to all 3. Like 0 questions asked.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not even joking.
Do it.
But that's kind of the big thing about the stuff that's been renamed. Now, what's also interesting is what's new. And unfortunately, as far as things being new, we don't really have information on the Challenge Series and the Nexus Cup specifics. But ultimately, as you can tell, they have gotten rid of skirmishes. Skirmishes
So
are no longer a thing.
How do you know it's
And
not just the
importantly-
renaming of skirmishes?
Well, they have fundamentally changed them. So they have kind of retired skirmishes.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you can no longer get a buy for a regional. And I'm actually a huge fan of that. I thought that the buys were inherently problematic insofar as I think that they were a message without a translation. And what I mean by that is if you got a buy, it was so frustrating to not get a regional ticket because you're like, Riot, you are telling me that I can compete at this level, but I'm not getting the chance. And if they made it so that if you had a buy, you got priority purchasing for a regional ticket, well, then everybody at the region would have a round 1 buy, and then nobody had a buy, right? And like that would be kind of worthless in its own right. So I like the idea of the buy system. I don't think it can ultimately work. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah,
Is this the right call?
Yeah, 100%. I apart from that, I mean, I think it incentivizes, I think, people to just go play for a best stuff as well. It's like you got a free win. I'm gonna go play Ari, or I'm gonna go play, some other random deck. I'm gonna play Garen or something like that. I think it also became a problem on that end. Giving too many people too many buys is just not worth it overall. And I don't know, like I don't think it ever was worth it to do it. I think this adds an extra layer for a lot of players to actually be able to have a bad tournament or like a good tournament depending on who they face, who they go against, and then especially when it comes to the tiebreakers, that's better if you get the win, go 7-0, go 8-0 instead of getting that free win or that bye. So I think it helps in a way for sure. I'm glad they got rid of it. And yeah,
It's also really stressful, man.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah, it is, but
going to a regional without a bye felt bad.
nah, I don't know. I can't speak
felt
with my
bad.
negative win rates, so
Oh no, don't do it.
But no, I think it's good. I think it's a good change for sure. But I don't know. It's a bad change in a way because if they don't fix the time, there might be someone that didn't get it, that we don't have buys, so now they go the plus 30 or plus 40 time, and that just makes round one even longer, and it makes the whole tournament longer. So who knows? Who knows how it'll turn out? But I think it's a good change.
What do you think, Stardust?
Like, I personally don't think it makes that big of a deal anyways, because like the road to getting like top 8 is like you can only lose one time.
I'm gonna buy it every regional, and I've never made day 2. So
No. That's exactly what that's kind of my
Right, I'll
point.
just say
I'm
it.
saying like I don't think it matters in terms of like, yeah, you get a bye and then you still have to win like 11 in a row. Like if everybody is forced to not have a bye, then the first few rounds will still be easier. It kind of, the math evens out, like it doesn't matter in the long run. But I do see the point where it's like problematic because
I mean, that's not necessarily true because the first round pairings are completely random, right?
Yeah.
I have just as much opportunity
Yeah,
to go against
right.
Alan ZQ as I do, anybody else. So like,
But
I don't know. From
except-
my experience in Nexus Night, it's only hard at game 3 because then you're facing people who are 2-0 as compared to if you get paired with any random casual and like
That's
the
true.
first round.
Actually, with that being said, I actually think that then in like buys make the game a little more consistent because let's just say like
that's
it's
true.
Alan ZQ versus like Sam Sherman D, like round 1, then it's like, oh, somebody is gonna be in trouble. You know what I mean?
Alan ZQ versus Garrett's my favorite champion. I'm playing a game deck.
But I do see the problem with the problem with like buys being a game outside the game. So like you have to like I see people making deals like, hey, if I get the buy, I'll give you the skirmish mat. If I give you this, I get like some people are like, I just want the buy. I just want, you know what I mean? I've seen
It
that happen
absolutely
before.
changes the game.
Nah.
Yeah, 100%. And like deals are more easily made, and it's like there is kind of like, oh damn, who actually won that skirmish? Like a lot of people are like, well, nobody actually won. We chopped, right? Like you got the buy, I got the mat. I already had a buy, so you can have the like that kind of stuff. Is it good? Is it bad for the game? I don't know. I personally think that it's not actually playing the game, but I mean, in the long
I'm
run,
glad that they're getting rid of them. Yeah.
So-
Logistics aside, I'm glad that they're getting rid of them just because, again, like a buy is a check that Riot cannot cash.
Yeah.
Like it feels bad to have one and not get in. And like that's all there is to it. Now, what they're bringing is a Nexus Cup and a Challenge Series. And the Challenge Series is going to be it's just there's like no information on the Challenger Series in the article. But something that I think is really important is Nexus Cups, which says in 2027, Nexus Cups will be monthly celebrations of local organized play, yada, yada, yada. And it says, which will enable local competition without driving and incentivizing players to push hard to earn their way onto the competitive ladder. That is bullshit. That is complete bullshit, and that makes no sense. If you offer any amount of prizing, people will try hard. Like there's no question about that. The idea that you could have a premier event that's casual is nonsense. Is complete nonsense. And I'm positive that if they offer any amount of prizing at all for a Nexus Cup, it's gonna be sweaty. Doesn't matter if you ban like the top legends. I'm gonna build like a highly optimized Ornn list or some bullcrap, right? Like, I don't know what they're trying to do with the Nexus Cup, but like, it's gonna be sweaty. If there's any prizing, even if it's just packs, I'm bringing Discard Ezreal to a Nexus night, dunking on somebody who's never played the game before for the chance to pull a signature and like my pack, right? Like, no, like you can't do that. More details to come, right? And going back to the
Challenge.
challenge series. The challenge series appears to be the rebranded skirmish. There's no information on it. I have no idea what it's gonna be like, but I imagine if you ever have like exclusives, this is where they're gonna lead. Like, I would like to play in skirmishes, even if you could just win a mat, because the mat is cool. The mat says champion on it. It's the highest competition that exists locally. Like, I think that if it's just a skirmish but without the buy, I will be pleased, because that is the best way to cut your teeth, right? In like high level performance. What do you guys think? What do you think, Hydra, about just these changes?
Yeah, I mean,
Challenge series and
yeah, I
Cup
mean,
combined.
yeah, Nexus Cup. Yeah, I mean, trying to think, just trying to make sense of like what if it's casual play, like what they can do, but I just
They
don't. Yeah, I
can't.
just don't think there's anything like if
It's not
it,
possible.
like if you offer something there, yeah, there's something in return, so that therefore you gotta try hard for it.
Bro,
For
Ari
whatever the
promos
case
are
it
going
is.
for like $600.
Exactly.
You
So.
offer anything exclusive, I'm bringing my best deck. Like, what do you mean?
So yeah, I get it. And challenge series, like at once per set, I wonder how that's gonna go about. Like, do you qualify based on like some point system? Do you, I don't know, do you win the Nexus Cup and that gets you in there? Like, you know, like there's it's so much in the air. But I do hope that they do some like better promo or something. I honestly, I'm like when you won the skirmish and you got the playmat and the promo, I was like, this is, I don't know, it didn't feel like enough.
Well, the
but at this-
playmat's dope. The playmat's
well,
dope.
it's like, yeah, do you ever use them in when you take them? I don't know. They don't.
No, I think it's so vain, bro. I will
Exactly,
never
exactly.
pull.
So it's
'Cause
like
if I'm pulling up with the skirmish promo or the skirmish playmat and I lose, hell no.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
hell
when
no.
do you use them? You know, like it's either like people are
Oh,
either.
plenty of people use them. Plenty of people use them. But
I never seen.
I
anyone.
don't. I don't personally.
But I just don't
I've
see
got
like
a couple. I
don't see
never
I don't
use
see
them.
the point of them. Like if people try to sell these, you know, because some people will. They're like what,
Whoa, whoa,
50 to
whoa.
$100.
When you say that you don't see the point of them, I'm going to disagree there.
Really?
Because and okay, so and this is the big thing. This is the big thing, right? Like, trading card game, like, companies own a discrete resource. They make a thing that nobody, like, if you like, it makes no sense to do as a company, as a business. It makes no sense to offer an $100,000 prize in money, when instead I could spend $300 to print a metal card that is one of one that will sell for $100,000.
Yeah, okay, I
Right?
get that.
Like,
Part, yeah.
like exclusive promos drive everything.
But this is like every winner gets one, you know? Like there's whatever 50,000 stores, let's say in the US, that give out a skirmish win, you get your
Yeah,
playmat.
but that's still one of 50,000, bro.
But I'm just saying, like in my mind, it's just like it's whatever, you know? Like if I lose, go second, and I didn't get the playmat, like it doesn't really mean much to me, I guess.
I would always rather have like a custom art card than a playmat. I will say
Yeah,
that
okay,
much.
yeah. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like maybe a better promo would come in, but I would support that more
Okay,
and want to
okay.
win more for like something that looks way better than just a playmat and some random.
The only thing about that I will say though is, like, I don't play Rengar. I don't play Lilia. You know, like,
yeah,
I think it would be, oh my God, it would be so cool if like the prize was like one custom rune of each domain or something.
ooh, okay,
That would be dope, because you can put those in any deck.
yeah,
Right?
I
Like,
can see
that would be
I can see
awesome.
that.
And I think that's why you go with the playmat in some regards, right? Because you can always use the playmat,
Yeah,
right?
you
Like,
take it anywhere.
it sucks to have something that you can't use, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's pretty
So
cool.
I don't know.
Can you imagine having a full blinged out like skirmish or summoner
that'd be-
skirmish rune set?
that'd
Bro,
be
that
so
would be
nice.
insane.
See, but I
That
mean,
would be
the
insane.
reward has to be better for a once per set per store challenge, though.
Yes, I
So
agree with
that
that.
has to
I
be
agree with
something
that
better.
wholeheartedly. The fact that it's once a set as compared to skirmishes,
Yeah.
which are once a month, makes
Yeah.
me very curious, because that means the pricing has to be like a big deal.
Yeah. So
So I will agree with that. What do you think on all this, Stardust?
I mean, I think first of all, we don't know enough to actually like know, but like
There's literally
everything-
zero details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything you guys said made a lot of sense, but here's my prediction. I think
Okay.
that they're gonna do a point system where it's like, oh, you get like, maybe like that once a month thing, you get like 50 points, and you get 100 points, you make it to regionals, or you get priority.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Nah.
I'm telling you.
Because you
Right,
got
just-
no.
So I
Right.
like the idea, but the reason that I don't think that'll happen is, and this could change with it being once a store per set as compared to once a month. I've seen way too many skirmishes fire with 6 people,
Yeah.
with 7 people.
Yeah.
If
So,
it's once a store per set, maybe you start to see attendance on skirmish or this challenge series rise to the point where that happens a lot less. But like,
That's just inherently gonna happen based off of the density of people. That's just
But
that's the nature of
Um,
demographics.
if they go that route, they have to like just make the events a higher cap though, like 4,000, 5,000 people though, because the amount of people that are gonna get like a entry or something based on points.
yeah, I'll drive 4 hours every weekend, bro. Like I'll hit every
See,
single
there
one of
you
these.
go.
See,
I'll
there
hit
you
on-
go. That's
I'll
what I'm
hit
saying.
on
That's what I'm
participation
saying.
You're
rates,
like you're a
bro.
different
Are
breed
you
for
kidding
that.
me? Like,
You're a different breed.
I mean, I remember playing at the Dragon's Den
Jeez.
however long ago, and one of the guys was like, "Yeah, come up to Eddyville. Our skirmishes only have 3 people, and they're all terrible." And he's like, "I just like farm them." It's like, what the heck?
That's insane.
So I do think that the pricing has to be upped significantly if it's 1 per store per set. That's
Yeah.
a great point, because now I'm like, holy, it's not like, oh, it's the point in the month where I can go to 3 skirmishes this weekend. It's going to be like, oh, like this is a big deal.
Yeah,
Like, let me
yeah.
make sure I'm like winning these or whatever.
I'm telling you, they're once per store. They're sending like they're gonna send like one person from each store that wins like the once per month tournament, and they're gonna send them to like the regional like the regionals.
No,
I'm
no,
telling
no, that's impossible.
No,
it's
no.
I'm
impossible.
telling
And
you,
I'm-
that's
it's
my
impossible.
guess. That's
Well,
okay,
think
fine.
about,
That's my guess.
think
That's my
about,
guess.
no. Think about Hydra's point. What? There's 50,000 LGS. I
Yeah.
have what, like 8 LGSs, like within
That's
driving
true.
distance of me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
what?
too
We're gonna
many.
get 50,000 people a month that get an invite to regionals? No,
Well,
absolutely
I
not.
said, that would
Mhm.
every,
A
every
set,
3 months.
But every 3 months, right? So that's what my quant. That's like 16,000.66
it's just
people
way too
a
much.
month that get an invite
We'll see. We'll
on
see.
average.
I think well, that's the most fair because then like all the cash, all the pricing that you guys were talking about, you guys didn't like. So I was trying to.
Well,
We'll
it has
see.
to be a middle ground, you know.
I think it's going to be an exclusive promo, and that's it.
That's
But
that's
it's going to
the-
be like an art exclusive promo, and
Maybe.
that is going to change everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm serious. I'm
everything.
serious.
All right,
People
gotcha.
again, it's a discrete resource, bro. You don't need to give cash prizes when you get people are going to have a fist fight in the parking lot
We get
for
it,
like
we
the
get it.
Akali altar.
We get
I'm
it.
telling
There's just
you.
there's not enough. There's not enough details for us to know yet.
But
I personally,
we're here to speculate. It's what we do.
yeah, but you can only speculate so far. Now we're going into
No, I can speculate to the
All
ends of the
day,
earth,
that's
bro.
right.
That's what makes me
Okay,
the host.
this
That's
is-
what makes me
all
the
right.
host.
Next topic.
All right. That's actually, for the most part, it.
Oh.
I think that.
Oh.
I mean, was there anything else from like the state of the game or state of play that you guys
Well,
wanted to bring up?
One question, because the
Yeah,
other
what's up?
number. Oh, he's back. The other number battlefields. How do we feel about that? Taking a spot, taking a
Ooh.
spot
love the
on the
idea.
pack.
Those are so
Look, the
cool.
problem is it
Well,
takes
well,
the
okay,
spot
pause.
of. Okay, go for it.
Pause. So we saw this with. What was it? Spirit Blossom or Spirit. Actually, you just see this in general, right? When you rip an epic and you're like, crap, I got a, what's that? Or I got a Helm of whatever instead of a Kali altar or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
that feels bad. I guess my question is it going to be like, does each battlefield get an over number?
No
probably like a
shot.
set,
Probably.
super popular. Look, if they're popular and viable,
But how do you
people
know
like
if they're
them.
popular before the set comes out? You don't.
So how did Riot
No,
know?
no.
Like,
No, I'm assuming they're gonna do like Kaisas, like old.
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
like
Yeah,
old.
that.
yeah.
Okay,
That's true.
okay.
That's true.
That would make
Look, I
sense,
love
right?
the idea. I had to take my fancy aspirants climb out of my deck after they banned it, and look. I try to have. You can't exactly tell, but like most of my cards are foil,
Yeah.
right? I've got the Crystal Rose as, got the Metal Ezreal. When it comes to like,
Just
when it
flexing.
comes, when it
yeah,
comes
I
to
know
my
he's literally just
runes,
flexing, bro.
I'm
It's
doing
like look
like
at all
one
the
of
money.
each, right?
Look at
Like
all
I
his
love to
money.
have like a customized deck. I'm ignoring everything that you're saying. I love to have a customized deck. And like to be fair, you can also have like foil battlefields, but I hate the foiling in this game. It's like really weak in my opinion. So the idea that I could upgrade my battlefield slot, like heck yeah, I'm all for it. And
Yeah.
is it gonna suck when I rip an overnumbered battlefield and not like a
Yeah, over number
overnumbered
Z.
legend?
Yeah, your
Yeah,
signature
but
Z's not in
I
there.
don't know.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I have a question. Are they ever gonna fix that? Like, shouldn't they have like, like a certain rarity? Like, I think legends should have their own like percentage chances compared to.
I think
I
that
don't
they
know.
need to send. I think that they need to sell like a legend pack that just has one of each legend, or send like a bulk legend pack to, or like every time you buy a booster box or something, they give you a
Yes.
pack that just has
Yeah.
one of each
That's fair.
legend.
Yeah.
Like for the love of God, like take them out of my packs,
I know.
please.
It's
Funny,
literally
funny
garbage.
enough.
It's
Wait.
literally garbage.
Has anyone seen that Ari? This is Twitter drama, but someone sold a prize wall.
Oh
Uh,
God.
and
No, PSA
Ari.
messed that up.
Yeah,
PSA
yeah,
messed
yeah,
that
yeah.
up.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. Someone sold
Wait,
like
what happened?
a $2 Ari for
What?
$20,000 because
Hold on.
they. Okay, you can say the story if you know the story.
So, well, it's not a $2 because it was the promo Ari, but
Oh, okay.
they mislabeled the
Oh,
promo
as
like
prize
shiny
wall?
Yeah.
Ari as the prize wall Ari, and it was like a gem mint 10, and it sold for
Oh,
20 grand. I
dude,
mean,
that's a
yeah,
lawsuit.
it's
You're
stupid, but
you're
I mean,
suing PG. You're
yeah, and
suing
that's like a
PGL.
slam dunk, like where's my
That's
refund type shit. Like
oh
so,
my
but yeah, that was so
god.
stupid. But those promo Aris are like so much money. They're so much
They
money.
are money, but not like
No,
$2,000 money.
absolute under no circumstances. Under no
Yeah.
circumstances.
Oh, actually, talking about just random people wasting money. Uh, with their recent look, this is just drama. It's a TCG environment. Someone bought like a Miku for 10 grand from Magic
Oh yeah,
Gathering.
so the Miku Commander deck for Magic the Gathering, somebody got sent it accidentally early, and somebody bought it for 10 grand, and now they just announced it, and it's like coming out print to demand in like a couple months, so it's going to be worth like. Look, all I'm saying is if you're able to drop 10, look, if I was rich enough to drop 10 grand on a Miku, I don't I probably don't care. And also like to be completely that guy, he's like I had the first one, right?
Yeah.
He showed
Yeah.
up to local when nobody else had that, and he was like no, this is not a proxy, right? So like at that point you're buying stuff to be important, so like
True.
I
You're
think he
flexing.
probably
You're
got his
flexing.
money's worth, and then this is us poors coping, imagining that he feels bad,
That's
Oh man.
crazy, right?
unironically.
Yeah. Who's really the idiot? The guy that can
He
afford
had the
it?
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that could drop 10 grand on that, or me who can't.
Or the Ari, the guy that
Yeah,
can afford to
you
spend
guys
20
need to
grand.
subscribe. You guys
Yeah.
need to subscribe and like and share so that we can get there.
Oh, we're doing that now. Dang.
You always
Like,
need to. You always
share,
need to.
share.
Chill, you gotta
You
chill.
deserve it.
But
But yeah, no. Also, let us know what your predictions for the tournaments are. Like, what do you think the new revamping? What do you think they're doing with it? And what do you think the pricing is going to be? And if you have details, slide in the comments. We'll feature you.
And if they're bad comments, I'll fight you. So.
All right. I like that setup.
Oh, I love that. We should use that as the ending like
if you had, yeah, that's
and if
the
it's
sign
bad
off. If you
comments,
have
I'll
a bad
fight
comment, I'll
we
fight
gotta
you.
yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
put that
pull
in
up
every single
outside of the next showdown series. Hands will be thrown.
Hey, I like
Alright.
my odds, Team TCG. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, shit. All right,
Any
all right.
closing comments, Hydra? I think that you.
Closing
We need to check
comments.
in with you the last person, yeah.
Let me think. I have any closing comments this time around? Not really. Yeah, no,
It's
nothing.
scant for details,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
No,
there's still so much that we need to find out.
I got nothing, but if let me think about it while you get to the other two.
I'll go. Riot. Look, I don't know what you talked about. I missed probably like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of discussion. But I will say one thing: the communication's good. They need to
It's
communicate
excellent.
more, but they need to make fucking YouTube videos. Okay, so they do this in Riot, the real league game. Okay, they do it in Valorant. Why are you guys not making constant YouTube videos?
I think they made those. I'm pretty
I know,
sure
but
that's
they need to be. They need to put. Dude, there's so much money. They need to put more investment in this. Make it interesting. Make it like who's that gentleman that did the league spotlights?
Oh,
That type of. Yeah, but like a freak. Talk about the deck. Talk about like something like
Yeah.
this, a new type of styles. But right now they do really like short stuff. But like,
yeah.
I don't know, having a little bit of gameplay and
Yeah.
explaining some
Yes.
of the sequencing
Yes.
stuff,
That was
would
like
be interesting.
highlight. It was kind of a sneak peek of what you could do with that card or
Yeah.
do with that new champion. Yes, I love that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's more interesting. And again, you know, for the amount of effort they need to do to make a video like that, like any of us could do this, and I would do it for free.
Any of us, huh?
You know, if need be.
Yeah.
And
Dude, right.
he would do all the work. He would edit it. That guy would edit it.
Zedril is offering his hand here. Riot, contact
and a
him.
free editor.
All right. Anything closing on you, Stardust?
I'm super excited with all the so when you know how like they introduce Emerald tier into Riot
Worst
game
mistake.
system? So no, well actually I think it's because the game is growing so much to get like you need to introduce like a broader like a tier system. Like some people want to play casual, some want to play somewhat casual, some people want to play competitive, and some people want to make this their lives. So now you have like more options for catering to each person. For me, I'm gonna hit everything. That's super fun to me. Like that's exciting. So yeah, for me, I'm just excited to see what's to come.
I do have something.
Awesome.
I do have something now.
Okay.
Inspired him.
They need. I do want a digital client for this game.
No.
I'm not gonna
True.
lie. I do want a digital client, and they need to. I wouldn't say replace
If the
Runeterra.
promo support is good enough to keep in-person play,
It
I'm okay
should.
with that.
Yeah, it should. It should. Because obviously, all tournaments should be in person. I'm not gonna say they should play it online. That makes no sense.
No, I disagree.
No, that's because you're a bad TCG player, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, that's a bad thing.
But
That's
but no,
crazy.
I do think that I want a digital one just so I can actually just not have to go through it like all this sims, and we can like people can host their like third party and online tournaments easier than what they do now. So
The only thing I'll say about that, actually, I have two things
Okay.
I'll say about that. One, if the in-person prizing is good enough, and you actually see this with One Piece, if the in-person prizing is good enough, I'm okay with that because then everybody's gonna. The only thing with, it's kind of tricky because Magic has a digital client.
Yeah.
But the thing that happened with Magic is Arena came out during COVID. That's a whole thing. It's kind of hard because in-person play died so hard.
yeah,
That like getting back was one thing, and for some godforsaken reason, Magic hasn't realized that they can literally print money in the form of promos. Doesn't matter. The second thing about that is another thing that's happened with Magic, and I've watched a bunch of the Pro Tours. Like playing in person versus playing online is so different, and being able to create an online client, I think inadvertently creates some pretty significant complexity creep that I would just want to be very careful about. So like in Magic, there's this thing called landfall where every time you play a land, like it triggers, and like you can get very creative and very tricky, and not this last Pro Tour, but the Pro Tour before that, because everybody practices online where the client does everything for you. When you try to play a deck like that in person, it gets really messy really quick. And I want to make sure that there's no complexity creep that comes from a digital client that does all the steps for you. Now, admittedly, for Riftbound, where none of the cards make sense, having a digital client do everything for you would probably help, right? And obviously that's like very long term, but like that is a legitimate fear of mine because I have seen it happen. Zedro thinks I am.
But long term, long term, like they have the assets, they have the ability, they already made a client, okay? They have the capability to do this. I don't think it's that difficult. Sure, the issue for you guys is like, I guess, like making sure there's still money inside of it. But I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh does this, and they still have big tournaments. And honestly, I think the key point, I wouldn't mind having like the rank.
Yu-Gi-Oh hosts their world championship on, like, they play on computers.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
At the world championship. At the YCS, they play in paper, but like at like the Duel Links World Championship, they use like Duel Links. It's like a Konami's. It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever. It depends. Whatever is more preferable for the viewer.
If I can't flick my cards, I don't want it.
You gotta.
Yeah, well, I care about the audience enjoying what they're doing, because kind of the issue with the card physical stuff that you can't really see what they're. I don't know. They need maybe they need more cameras. Like
They need to bring
cameras.
hand
3
cams
million
for
cameras.
regional.
3
No,
million
100%.
cameras.
100%.
No, just be China.
No,
Just be
dude,
China.
that's oh my god. That's another. Okay, that's
Okay,
That's
wait.
another
Okay,
thing.
before we continue. All
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay,
say is,
okay.
I wouldn't mind having like a rank system in that. Like in
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
dude.
they qualify players through the rank system. Not all slots, but some slots to play.
that thing
play.
is a human rights abuse, bro.
No. But hey, that's their players choose. Some people have normal schedules. Like we can define that. We can define
Bro,
that. But all
that
I'm
is
gonna
a
say,
human rights of if okay. So for anybody who's listening that doesn't know about it, it is an open ranking system, and you win points and you lose points. Obviously, if you win or you lose, and at the end of the weekend, if you're at the top,
Yeah, 3 days,
you
yeah.
qualify for like the world championship. So people will play for out like they will not sleep
Hey.
because you have to. Because
no,
that's the only way to do
the
it,
worst
bro.
the worst players will not sleep. The good players that consistently make it can sleep. Okay, there's a filter. That's the reality of it. There's a filter.
Barely, man. It should be a round robin tournament system. None of this ranked crap. Like,
No. I'm just saying a rank to give it like you. Let's say you rank by the end of the season, you get an opportunity to get a tournament, and they give you slots for the world or whatever, or they give you slots. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say that's
that's
the
what
only thing that matters.
showdowns are for.
Yeah, but you can do that through an online format with people that are, like it or not, this type of environment. TCG players, some of them are shy, especially women. They don't. Women are less likely to go into in-person events. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
true. That's true.
And allowing like a more wide base. Obviously, girls are the thing, but yeah, I mean, keep the tournaments, keep the world events, keep them like into the face conventions and make them popular. Like that's fine. But I definitely think
And
we
you
should,
can do that by keeping the promo pricing good.
Yeah, that's fine. I agree with that. Yeah, that's fine.
That's all I care about. All right. Let us know what you guys think below in the comments. Got some cool stuff coming up, and I think that when more details are finally released, we can circle back on some of these topics because they were very vague in a lot of ways. But thank you guys for listening, as always, and we will see you next time on the Stack Deck.
Peace.